Welcome to Functionally Speaking, the podcast where two clinicians share one brain cell and way too many opinions.
I'm Laura, your mineral-obsessed dietitian who gets fired up about gut health, metabolism, and fertility, with enough sass to keep it interesting and enough nuance to keep it real.
And I'm Danielle, a physician assistant obsessed with gut health, hormones, and calling out bullshit.
We're here for the nuance, the hot takes, the facts your certification skipped over, and the occasional spiral into chaos.
If you're a health coach, practitioner, or clinician who's slightly functional, just like our mitochondria in our recording process, you're in the right place.
We're not here to sugarcoat the science or pretend there's one right way to do this work. We're doing it our way, unfiltered, slightly feral, and always with love for the humans we serve. Let's get into it.
All right, welcome back to Functionally Speaking, the clinical pod that spirals responsibly. I just love that tagline.
Same. So fitting.
And before we get going today's episode is brought to you by Unconventional Collaborative, a virtual interdisciplinary online mastermind that helps you coaches, I see I fucked it up this time. Coaches, practitioners, and trainers elevate their practice. Visit us at unconventionalcollaborative.com to learn more. And also, if you're enjoying these episodes, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Give us a rating, give us a review, give us some love, people. And now that we have done all of the front end stuff in about 30 seconds or less, we're gonna talk business today.
Yes.
I'm really excited. And I think even if you're not you probably are a health and wellness business owner, but I still think this stuff is interesting to talk about too. But we're gonna talk to the people about how to book your first 5 clients without the sleazy cold DM. Gross.
Don't be an MLM, hun.
Please. There's no cold DMing over here. Should we tell people what we mean by a cold DM if people don't? And just in case people don't know.
I mean, they're just the predatory slide into your DMs and they're asking a question, but really they're just wanting to sell you something oh, hey, I saw that you wanted to lose weight. Can I ask you if you're interested in learning more? If you don't know the person, you've never talked to the person and never interacted with you, that's not the vibe.
It's not. Did I show you the person who slid into my DMs telling me that they used Carrie's name with me? And I'm like, do not use the queen's name in vain. I was so mad.
Yes.
But then they were vegan and selling I don't know, Arbonne or I don't know. So they were selling something and I was like, we have nothing in common. I am you are just the vegan all over her profile. And it just feels so gross. Guys, there are better ways. So I think our thoughts on the cold DM are very clear. It's a big no for us as a consumer and also as a business owner. We've never cold DM'd anybody for the collaborative. I've never cold DM'd anybody about working with me one-on-one. I can imagine you have not either.
No.
If someone is a newer business owner out there just starting out, what are some things that people should be doing or that would really benefit their business to grab those first 5 to a dozen clients, I would say?
I mean, I think you have to have a starting off point, right? A website, an Instagram, or whatever social platform speaks to you. You have to have somewhere, right? Because people likely will want to learn more about you. I think that people not only are signing up for your offers, but they're also signing up for you, right? You are what makes you so special about what you're offering. There's so many different websites that you can use to sign up for a free website. You can sign up for a free Instagram, or if you prefer TikTok, whatever. I wouldn't do all the things because then you won't be able to keep up with it. But pick a website and a social media platform. Get that set up. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be literally just the information you need so that people can find you, and ideally with an email list and preferably a freebie so that they know that you exist and they know where to find you, and then you have their email and you can reach out to them, which is more of a warm lead. Right? These cold DMs of you literally just it would be if you went up to someone on the street and say, hey, you want to lose weight? Come with me. Which I don't know why I keep saying weight because neither of us are weight loss people. But instead it's if you're at a cafe and, you meet somebody and you're talking about lives and actually, now that we're talking, right, there's a difference between this warm type of lead and this cold lead. So having this information, people feel more, what's the word? You're building a rapport, even if you're not in front of them all the time. They know your website, they know your credentials, they know what you're offering, because that's, I think, another thing that you probably will talk about more is talking about your freaking offer. But having that platform is going to be helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, big plug for we have a freebie. If you go to our Instagram, unconventional.collaborative, we have some free resources there, and one of them is a 50-page ebook about building your business. Honestly, it's probably worth $50 at least, and we're giving it to you guys for free. So speaking of freebies, like that is one of ours. It is super valuable. We don't spam you or anything like that. But
We have to remember to email to.
yeah, yeah. We have to use our one functional brain cell too. Yeah, anyways, plug for that. And then I think, definitely like the website, keep it so simple, right? Like don't overthink it. And I think that that's like one of the things that new business owners can really do is that they just like they get so paralyzed about like things being perfect and overthinking that they do nothing. And it's like, well, that's not getting you fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
And I like to give credit where credit's due. I have a business coach, her name is Kirsten, and she always talks about if your offers aren't selling, did you talk about it 3 times last week? Talk about it 3 times this week and then tell me that things aren't selling. So I think
Mm.
that that is just like really important also because they say after COVID, it takes people like 25 exposures to purchase something. It's like it just scrambled that whole time period just scrambled our brains. It used to be 7. Something that Marcus, my boyfriend, hears me say sometimes, I don't want to bombard people. And he's like, you have to remember that not everybody's seeing something every time that you post or every time you make a reel or every time you send an email. You have to be talking about things often. So I think just getting up the gumption to be talking about your offers and what you do and who you help. And one of the things that I will probably drive in here is like having social proof. And you're probably like, well, what the fuck? I'm just starting out. I don't have any social proof. I was there also. I had networked with a lot of people, Laura being one of them, and I asked those people to basically endorse me as someone who could help people. And I was fortunate enough that I had made some really great connections. I don't even want to say fortunate because like I created that, right? So even if it's like you have a patient in conventional medicine that you're, I'm speaking to my experience really close with, or someone on the internet who is more well known, who knows that you're like a legit human, or a friend or a family member who, you helped with their health. Like just start with whatever you have, but that I'm like the queen of social proof. Like somebody sends me something, I'm like,
You are.
snip. Like I'm so good with my social proof because that stuff really matters. So I think talking about it and showing people that you're legit is really, really important.
Well, I think kind of piggybacking on that, the networking piece that you're talking about is so invaluable. Like, 'cause people are like, oh, well, I don't have a social media following, which social media has its time and place, right? It's great for a lot of things. And also you still have your local community, like we've talked to people on a collaborative who are going to talk to like run groups, for example, and their gyms and their local yoga studio, Pilates studio. Like there's so many ways that you can network and either offer like a talk or a freebie or whatever it might be to help. I mean, I know you did was that like a pregnancy postpartum event?
Yeah. And I'm
Like
still seeing business from that
I think, yeah, I mean,
2 years ago.
I don't do a ton of local events anymore, but because kids, but like I started my business 10 years ago and I was doing a ton of it. I was at gyms, I was at expos, I was networking the heck out of it. And now I feel like I don't have to do that as much because I've created that rapport, right? Which you have as well. And it's in the beginning, it is. You have to be a little bit scrappy of like, okay, where makes sense. Like, obviously, if you don't want to work with like heart disease patients, don't go knocking on the cardiologist's door, right? Like, and I say that because I knew the cardiologist when I worked in the hospital, and he is now an outpatient cardiologist, and he always wants to send me people. And I'm like, your people aren't my people, but thank you. But like, it was,
Aw.
he introduced me to other people. So it's also like just getting your name out there and
Yeah.
talking to people, like Danielle said, it's so valuable. And that's where I think my first 5 clients came from. They didn't come from Instagram. Like, I think social media is a long-term game or long play part of your process because like you said, I mean, I can't believe those numbers. I mean, I can believe them, but I cannot believe how much it shifted just in like 5 years. But you have to keep getting in front of people. And sometimes the local people are going to be better because people really love word of mouth referrals. I think
Yeah.
that even over time as social media has grown, I think word of mouth is still probably the biggest thing. That's probably still how I get most of my clients, even though my social media has a following, like
And for
word of mouth.
me, like I remember you were my first follower, right? I was
Yes, I
like,
was like, start this. What are you doing?
I know. I literally remember like where I was sitting, what was happening, and I was like, okay. And so I did. And I started that 3 years before I ever asked anybody to give me $1. So I had been building that trust. Like the universe had plans for me. I really truly believe this because like, my podcast, which is separate from functionally speaking, like that was a COVID brain baby of mine. Like it just, everything just like lined right up. And so I really do think that there was like some kind of like divine intervention or some shit going on for me with that.
Well, but I
Um,
also think to your credit, you were open to that,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. Like
No,
you have to know that you're going to fail 10 times before you succeed one time. Like, and there's probably a better statistic for that. I just pulled that out of my butt. But like truly the amount of mistakes and failures, quote unquote, that I've had, yeah, there are some that probably set me back some because, we take things personally. But you also know that you're probably not gonna succeed. And something I always tell people too is that I think so many people are also like we were talking about overthinking. They're so worried about helping their first client and doing all the things right. But you can't help your 100th client if you didn't help your first client, right?
totally.
If I think back to the first client I took with my private practice, there's probably a ton of cringy things that I did and I wish that I
Oh,
would have done differently.
yeah.
But if I didn't start with them, I wouldn't be where I am today now. And because of them, I was able to grow and evolve and learn and improve my processes and my knowledge. And so you have to know that like you're not going to be perfect. But if you're showing up for your client, you're listening to them, you care about them, you refer out for them, like it's amazing. And you
Yeah.
will only continue to get better as you continue to see more clients.
Yeah, I think super important things to say. And I think, like, we're talking about what to do right now. So, talking about your offers, networking, local events, joining networking groups like online, like, hello, plug for the collaborative.
Intentional collaborative.
Hello,
Hello.
hi.
I can't tell you how many people I referred to within the collaborative.
Yeah, like I just gave out Caitlin's name this morning because someone was looking for somebody pediatric, and I'm like, they messaged me, and I was like, you got to be so tall to ride this ride. I don't do kids. But
Yeah. And it's like, honestly, the people in the collaborative are the first on my list. I'm
same.
like, yep, this person needs someone. Go.
Because
Be
like we know
gone.
them and we trust them and we know we see them like showing up to do the work, right? But I think also sometimes like my prices now are not the prices that I started at. So like I mean you can make arguments both ways for this. I also think like giving a lower ball offering for the first 5 people, never give your time away for free, never ever ever, but to get those first 5 people in and show like really over deliver, I think there can be that can be appropriate in the right circumstance.
I think
And
it
that,
all depends too where you are in the whole process, right? Like if you're a newer practitioner, you need to build up your practice and your credentials and all of that. But I agree. I think I wouldn't would don't say that forever. Like Danielle and I talk about ad nauseum every time we've raised our
yes.
prices, not in a predatory, like greedy
No.
way. I don't think either of us are on the high end of what we do.
No.
We always see better results and more invested clients because
100%.
they're investing in themselves and they're investing in your process. And so I agree. I don't think that it's bad to discount in the beginning, especially to get things rolling. But then I think you have to keep, your eyes long term to say, okay, I need to make sure I do raise these so that I am finding people who do want to make the change and who are invested.
Yeah, and also I will just touch on this real quick, like so you can handle the volume that you have and
Oh,
give the
yes.
quality of work. I just think that's so important to note because I have a cap of 30 one-on-one clients at a time right now, and I think that that is high for the work that I provide to people. And the research and I know you'd have the same type of process where it's like there are times where I'm doing like an hour of research top of like their intake form and everything else before I even see that person for their first visit. And if you're charging a certain dollar amount, like you better be giving people the effort. Like I really, really believe that as well. So the other thing, aside from like the discounting, like the first 5 people, like I think like beefing up the offer, like if you have, like I have created so many things. It's a problem. But like giving them like when people sign up for 6 months with me, they get 2 free like master classes or guides. People usually end up taking like I usually end up giving them more if it's like something that they really need. But like if you have like a couple of things that you've created, like offer like, hey, like you get all of X, Y, or Z things when you sign on as well, I think can be incentivizing for some people. I know we want to talk about what not to do as well, but I know we wanted to kind of talk about this idea of like the warm DM.
So I'm working with a coach right now. Shout out to Lou. And She changed my mind on this. I was very much like, no, we cannot be DMing people. But it's different than a cold DM. A cold DM is like you've never talked to this person. You literally are just like reaching out to them. You're like investigating them, right? But someone enters into your space. So, for instance, how I'm assessing or addressing this right now, people DM me all the time on my Instagram account about whether it's, I'm talking about MLMs or I'm talking about 1200 calorie diets, whatever it is. A lot of people will message. I'm also starting to build up a course. And so I'm trying to get a wait list. And so now instead of just like leaving like just giving a heart to whatever they're saying to me, I'm starting to engage in conversation, not necessarily because I want them to become a client, but I want to see, okay, they're in my space. Are they interested? Would it make sense? Right. And so I think it's having these conversations, and we've talked about before, this is how we met. And so I don't hate DM. Like we want to be
Right?
friends and have a business together and a podcast together, which is so cool, right? Without a warm DM, right? Danielle didn't come to me to sell me anything. She came to me because she heard me on a podcast and was like, yo, I vibe with you. And so, it was just, and if I hadn't have messaged back, it probably would have been a dead end, right? But I was like, oh, like I would love to learn more about you. So having these warm conversations and not necessarily like I'm not giving away medical information, right? I'm not telling the person, oh, you have PCOS. Yeah, you need X, Y, and Z. But it's leading to this conversation of, oh, you have a lot of questions. Like, here's what I have to offer. Like, if you want more, here's a way that we could work together, if that makes sense, right? And so it's kind of using the warm DMs. And I haven't really gotten into the automation yet. I know you do it more than I do, but
Yeah.
there's also ManyChat now and other providers too, where like you can have more of these automations in place to allow for you to catch for more of these opportunities, not necessarily prey on the person, but like if the person keeps interacting with you, there's probably a reason, right? They
Yeah,
vibe with your
totally.
content. You're talking to them. And I think that's probably we can start talking too about what not to do. But I'm curious too how you're seeing the warm DM work on
Yeah.
your side and your thoughts.
Yeah, I think touching on ManyChat is an important thing. So like I have a business manager, her name is Jess, and we're actually setting it up to like remind people like, hey, did you see this thing? Like so I'll talk about, my masterclass will be long done after this, but I'm running a metabolic masterclass in a couple of weeks. And, people get like comment fix if you want the link or whatever. And, they comment fix or they reply from a story and they get a message and a link, and then 23 hours later we have it set up, say, hey, did you check out like our thing, are you signed up, or like I can't remember exactly what it says because people forget, and again
Yes.
they need those 25 touch points, right? So that's definitely something that I'm using, and have seen it be helpful for a number of things. I also agree if people are sliding into your DMs all the time that there's something that they want from you for sure. Like they want conversation, they want information, they're vibing with you. I have those conversations naturally with people. Like I don't when people want to have like just conversation with me, like I'm totally open to that. It's the inappropriate like I I'll
Yes.
never forget the person who sent me their fertility charts. Like if you could just take a look at these.
Yes. No.
No,
No.
I that's
That's a
a
hard
I'll leave you
shutdown.
on red. Like,
Yes.
and also for creators out there, if you don't know, you can change your Instagram settings so that people can't see if they read
Yes.
your messages or not. And that is something that I would highly recommend because sometimes it's just like you don't have the bandwidth and it's inappropriate. And I don't want to be rude and for people to see like, oh, and I don't do it that often, to be very honest. But when it's like the person who sent me their fertility charts and wanted me like they wanted like insight, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this is a hard no. So
Which I think is also another way, not to say that this person is going to be a good fit, but it's instead of feeling sleazy of like I'm selling them something, like it is inappropriate because you
yeah,
don't have enough information about them to be
no
giving them
way.
health advice anyway. So it's appropriate at that point to say, hey, it sounds like you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. If it actually is in line with what you do, which like obviously you do fertility stuff, so like it
Yeah.
would make sense. I just got a DM about something that was about how she was septic and having muscular
Oh
dystrophy.
God.
And I was like, this is not what? Like, what is happening? And like, I think she just wanted to share her story, but like, it was inappropriate. And also just like, I would never sell her because she's not my client.
No.
And so it's
Yeah.
also understanding like when this is appropriate and like she's going to be left unread because like, not that she can see that I read it because I turned that off, but like, it's just not appropriate. I don't have the
Yeah.
bandwidth for it. But when someone is in your DMs and they are talking about whatever it is that you focus on, it's appropriate to be like, hey, like if you have a consult call or a discovery call, you can send them a link if you feel like it's good, or you can send them just your website or whatever it
Yeah.
is that you have your freebie. send them to wherever you think makes sense within your business so that they can stay within your business. And now they know that boundary of like, oh, okay, like when I asked about health stuff, I was sent to her, but maybe they're not ready yet, but maybe in a month, 2 months, 2 years, like they're like, oh, right, like I am ready. I remember Danielle like sent me her freebie on whatever. Like,
And if they have a shit reaction to that, because that probably will
yeah, no,
happen,
not good.
like it's just they're not a good fit for you. Like you would
I've had both. I've had
I
them be like
I have
not
very
great,
few of those situations
but
that
usually it's
happen.
also well responded of like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll check it out. And sometimes
totally.
they'll become a client and sometimes you never hear from them again. So
Yeah, but I mean, if you do get like a negative reaction from people, like I think it's happened once or twice to me in like 4 or 5 years at this point, and they're not your people. Like
no.
they just want to take advantage of you not having boundaries. So,
Well, I
when
think this is kind of going to of like what not to do, of like, I think we've all done it, of taking a client who is just not aligned with our
yes,
practice and us. And so I think here's the thing, it's probably going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. But, really try you can't be for everyone. If you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So understanding who your target client is and knowing that like you just maybe haven't found the correct people yet, but they are there. And so it's how you're talking to them on your social media. It's how you're emailing them. It's how you're talking, how you're presenting yourself on your website to make sure you're actually aligning with the people because you're going to get those people far better results. Like Danielle and I don't take weight loss clients because we're not going to help them. We're probably going to be like, not fulfilled ourselves. And so because of that, we won't be able to help that person. And so finding them the right person is important there,
I would also say like not working for free, right? Like
which
don't
we've all done.
give your time away for free. Do not do it.
No.
And I would even argue, not even argue, but say like if you're responding to people and giving them a lot of information on social media, like you're giving away your time for free.
Yes.
Uh, any wrap ups for this? I feel like this has been
No, I think,
forward.
just listen back and hopefully you took some notes and know that like it can feel like a hard process to put yourself out there, but if you don't put yourself out there, you're never probably going to see clients. So, and putting yourself out there just means different things to different people, right? It can be on social media, constantly talking. It can be on your website. It can be via podcasts. It can be via local networking. So, there's not
Yeah.
just one right way to do it. You have to do what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and I will just say I'll leave people with like this is why I feel like you really shouldn't filter yourself because if you are so careful about the words that you're using and the things that you're saying, like you're not going to attract people that align with you. So like being yourself and being unfiltered and sharing your opinions and things like that, like that you're going to have more luck with getting people who align with you than not. So,
Great.
cool. Well, until next week where I think we're going to be talking about cycle syncing.
Should you? Shouldn't you? We're gonna have
Supportive?
to find out.
Supportive or just another form of control? We'll see. Until then, make sure you go drop a rating or review for the podcast. And if you're interested in joining the collaborative, go check out unconventionalcollaborative.com. Later.